Greetings, dear human. Today the great papyrus will talk about the particles. Exactly what are particles? Well, particles tell us the role of a word in a Japanese sentence. You have to memorize that particles always are put after the word they are about. And that's really, really important to learn because, especially for beginners, it's not that easy. But worry not, human. I will help you today and explain the most important particles. And without further ado, let's start with particle wa. And if you have already studied some hiragana, then you might realize that this is not hiragana wa, but actually hiragana ha. Now you might ask yourself why ha is pronounced as wa. Well, there has been a certain change in pronunciation of several syllables in the Japanese language, and wa, basically whole ha, hi, hu, he, ho, have been pronounced differently before. Wa, wi, wu, we, wo. And this kind of change you can still see and hear when ha is used as a particle. Right, so that's why ha is pronounced wa. But what do we do with that? You see, it's about the topic of a sentence. What actually is the topic of a sentence? Well, you see, the topic is something which you want to stress and where you want to give additional information. Usually it's the subject, so the who or what does something in the sentence. It can also be a place or a time. The most important thing is that after the wa, after the topic, there comes new information about this topic. Let's have a look at some example sentences. 私は日本人です。私 is I. は is the particle. 日本人 Japanese. And です to be. So I am Japanese. You see, は here marks the topic. The topic is I. Everybody knows it's about myself. And afterwards comes the new information, which is Japanese. So about me, I'm Japanese. See, 私は is something which is already known, and I want to give further information that I am Japanese, in fact. But actually that's not true, so let's go for one more sentence, which is actually correct. パピルスはスケルトンです。So, papyrus, papyrus. は the particle. Skeleton, skeleton. This, to be. So about papyrus, he is a skeleton. Papyrus is the topic. The new information is that he is a skeleton. はい。ということですね。人間。Let's take a look a little further. Please also memorize that in front of wa, so before actually, there is no question word. For example, 誰. 誰 means who. You cannot say 誰は. That's not correct. Because, wa marks the topic, marks something which is already known. And if you ask with a question word, that means you don't know it yet. Which naturally means it's not something which is already known. So no question word before wa. You can use wa also for comparison and negation. Let's compare two people, me and somebody else. And we say that the word I am Japanese and the other person is not Japanese. 私は日本人です。彼は日本人ではありません。So 私は about me, I'm Japanese. We already know that sentence, right? The second sentence, 彼 means he. And here, again, the particle wa. So about him, about he. He's not Japanese. So the information we get about he, about him, is that he's not Japanese. We know it's about him. The new information we get is that he's not Japanese. Right. And that's also a little difficult for especially Japanese learners in the beginning, that it's not always necessary to have a topic in the sentence. You can just omit it completely. And that quite often happens, especially with watashi, because constantly saying I, me, is not really polite in Japanese. Because it's not everything about you, it's about the group and the other people, which are more important than one single person. And in case you cannot find the wa in the sentence, then you have to understand it by context, which usually means that the topic is still the same compared to the sentence before, or maybe 2 sentences before. So that means if you read and you don't know the subject or the topic, then just go back 1 or 2 sentences and find the wa there. Of course, if you talk with Japanese, if you have like a meeting or something, or then of course it's difficult to say, please can you repeat all the sentences so that I know the subject. So yes, I hope and I wish for you to take care of what you listen to and then understand a little more. Right. So, how does it look like if there is no wa? So we start again. 私は日本人です。I am Japanese. 23歳です。I am 23 years old. アニメが好きです。I like anime. Still, if we use I in Japanese language, if we use I in English language, still we don't have the wa in the last 2 sentences. In the first one we have it, 私は. But here, 23歳です, there is no 私は. アニメが好きです, there is no 私は. Of course, you could add it and say, 私は日本人です。23歳です。私は23歳です。私はアニメが好きです。Would be completely okay, but most people just don't do it because it's always I is not good. Okay, let's move on to the next particle. That's ga. Ga and wa are pretty similar, but there is a huge difference. If you remember, wa is used for a subject that is already known, that topic, and we learn new information about this topic. Particle ga marks a new subject, which is not known. So, afterwards, new information about the topic. So what do I want to say here? Let's have a look at the example sentence. 机の上にリンゴがあります. Okay, that might be a little difficult if you're a complete beginner. 机 is desk. 机の上 means on the desk. Ni, we will talk about that later, is a particle for a place where something exists. リンゴがあります. Ringo is an apple. Ga, that's the particle we talk about. あります, something exists. And especially in animate objects. So on the desk there is an apple. 机の上にリンゴがあります. So we learned ga marks a new subject, so that means ringo was something or is something which was previously not known. But usually Japanese sentences have 2 parts, a part which has new information and a part which has known information. So we know that ga marks a new subject, which means everything else must be known. The place where the apple is basically known. 机の上に is the known information. If we go back to the example sentences from before, you can see that the information which is already known is stated in the front. 私は日本人です. And here too. Here we know that we have the known one in the beginning too. 机の上に. If my computer doesn't really work, we have to wait till he finally goes back to normal. Right. Yeah, we have it. 机の上にリンゴがあります。が new subject, which means 机の上に is the information we already know. Also important to know is that the question has the same structure and the same word position as the answer. 机の上に何がありますか? The difference is just that you replace the question word with the answer. So 何 is what? So what's on the desk? You can see the position is the same. Just ringo is replaced by nani or nan. And there is no ka at the end of a normal sentence, but in the case of a question, there is. 机の上に何がありますか? 机の上にリンゴがあります. Yes, might be a little difficult because there are several words which you might not have heard and other particles, but what I want you to know is ga is a new subject. Usually if you ask for it. So what's on the table? Oh, there is an apple on the table. In the English language, we do that by stressing the word. We say, there is an apple on the table, on the desk. If you want to stress that it's about the desk, then you would, of course, stress the word desk. On the desk, there is an apple. But here it's, there is an apple. Right. Let's go for one more particle, shall we? A particle, no. Basically, no connects two nouns with each other, and it's about possession and belonging. So we connect two nouns, and so we have here Nihon and gakusei and the no in between. So what I want you to know and understand is the important one of these two nouns is the one after the no, the gakusei, the student. The part before the no in front here just gives additional information. Which student? The student from Japan. Nihon no gakusei. You can use no not only once in a sentence, but also sometimes, maybe 2 times or 3 times. Here in this example, we have no 2 times. Nihongo no sensei no hon. The rule is still the same. The most important word is the one at the end after the no. Even though we have 2 no here, we just go for the last one. Hon means book. And then we go one step back at a time. Which book? Sensei no hon. The book of the teacher, the teacher's book. Which teacher? Nihongo no sensei, the Japanese language teacher. The book of the Japanese language teacher, or the Japanese language teacher's book. Yes. No can also be used for abbreviations. For example, これは私の本です. This here is my book. Abbreviation, これは私のです.